Welcome back to another video, everybody. For those who are watching today's video, in today's video I'm going to give you a tier list telling you who's the best legend in the game and who's the worst legends in the game. Telling you who's must picks and who's definitely the legends you should not pick. This video will not be on the way they're on how fun they are, but more or less on how well they work in competitive plays. For games like ranked, if you're going to make a win and you're like losing a lot, these will be the best legends to choose. If you do not know what a tier list is, tier list is basically ranking everybody and giving them a A, B, C, D, E, or F, and they use also S tier, meaning that they are must-pick legends. They're the best legend in the game, and picking them over other legends might not be the worst pick. Okay, so let's start off with C tier. And at bottom of C tier we have Octane. Okay, before we talk about Octane, C tier is basically legends that are good, but it is indeed for a buff in order to be better. So, okay, at the bottom of C tier we have Octane. Octane is a strong legend and he did get a massive buff, but that wasn't really the best buff ever. He does need more buff for his ability or even a rework. The double jump buff that he got can be used by everybody, making it not an only individual Octane thing. And it's very hard to double jump in different directions. I mean, have you tried to double jump right and move right much easier? They did say that they fixed it, but I don't really feel like they fixed it as much. The next thing that okay, he is in need of a rework, and if you want to listen how I think we should get rework, I did make a video on that. So just tap the icon and go look for the video. The next legend that we have in C tier is at the top of C tier, and that is Bangalore. I even did a video for Bangalore because Bangalore is not really one of the best legends. She is indeed for a rework. Respawn did say that they were gonna buff her, but I don't know where. Her abilities, some of her abilities are great, and some of her abilities are completely stupid and need to go away, like her ultimate ability. Her passive ability is strong, her tactical ability can be strong, but if an enemy has a digital threat, they can see through it, as well as it makes the entire fight very disorientating, which is why she's so low. And 8 seconds is enough for anybody to run away, whether you are a legend that's not mobility or whether you're a legend that is a mobility legend, it doesn't really matter. The next legend we have is at B tier. And before we talk about B tier are strong legends, they basically okay legends, but they do need a buff to be a better legend. Did you see the glitch over there where Revenant and Nick keep together? Okay, forget about that. Now we can talk about Mirage. Mirage is one of the strongest legends in the game. They get a buff, but in competitive plays, he isn't really the must-pick legend. He is a fun legend, and before it's pretty hard for people to get bamboozled and things like that there. So that was one thing that you had to take in mind. Mirage can be extremely strong. People get bamboozled. He's ultimately strong, and his passive ability is why I claim so high in the last heroes, because you can go invisible when you are arresting someone, and that there can be extremely helpful. But you cannot buff the man, you cannot nerf the man. He's like Revenant or Blood. No matter how badly you buff them, no matter how badly you nerf them, their peak rate isn't going to increase, or they're not going to get better at the game as well. And the next legend we have is Loba. I did highly favor Loba because of her ultimate and how it worked well in Team Canyon with the charge towers. She also used to work well in World's Edge, but they fixed the bug where you couldn't teleport at all in World's Edge. And now the Black Mark Ability can steal from the vault, and that's really overpowered. I recommend stealing Knockdown Shields when you are in World's Edge, because it can be one of the most helpful things to allow you to win. Not only that, her tactical ability, the jump drive, can be extremely powerful. Her passive ability is good for finding the best loot at the beginning of the game, from picking out from the worst loot and picking out from the best loot as well. Also, for the fact of the matter that you can see through supply bumps, so you can tell the future to your friends. Okay, that's it for Loba. And the next legend that we have is Crypto. Crypto is a terrible legend in my opinion, but he can be extremely strong. The reason why I believe this is because Crypto is really strong with his drone. But when shooting down his drone, he's nothing more than a 2+ player. He's quite terrible at the game, and I do recommend that they need to do something about him. Without his drone, he can be strong, but you're in a 2v1, 2v3 situation. And that's not the only thing. If it is set on duos and your partner gets third party, there's no way your partner walks out alive. I mean, if your partner walks out alive, he is one of the best players to play the games. I mean, how the hell are you gonna walk out alive like that? The man does need a buff, and sitting at B tier because he's strong, and now that Watson got a nerf, ultimate ability can be sure that he stops people from camping, and he is kind of overpowered and he's a must-pick legend for competitive plays, but in my opinion, He just needs a slight buff so he can be better so he can have an ability that doesn't only involve the drone. Okay, the next legend that we have is Bloodhound, and Bloodhound is one of the most buffed legends in the entire game. He keeps getting buffed, and he keeps getting buffed because of multiple reasons. He has the second lowest pick rate, and you may get shocked who has the lowest pick rate, because you would actually look at their abilities and tell how that ability works. But they are doing pretty well. Their abilities are strong, and he is one of the best trackers out there. He is the best tracker. I do think that the man does not need any buffs or doesn't need any nerfs. He's in a good place. I do think that they should buff him enough his hitbox because of his head. He's massive. I mean, it's like shooting a golf ball, or it's like shooting a ball on someone's head. It's really easy to get headshots and to kill a Bloodhound player, and they should not buff any one of his abilities or anything about that. Their Bloodhound is a strong legend, but like I said earlier, you cannot buff him, you cannot nerf him. That's gonna make him an overpowered legend. I mean, they made a mistake when they buffed Revenant. Okay, the next legend we have is Lifeline, and Lifeline was considered, in my opinion, as the worst legend, because you could put abilities next to Gibraltar's and Loba's, and you could see why they're so terrible. Gibraltar had the fast heals and the fast revive, as well as Loba's Black Market, which keep being way better than having a care package. A lot of people compare that two together, and that is why that is why Lifeline was considered as one of the worst legends in the entire game. I do think that it kind of needs a buff. Okay, it doesn't need a buff. I mean, she's needed a buff before, but right now she's kind of overstrong. Her passive ability is extremely strong, and it will help you in a lot of situations. Ultimate ability used to be just to get purple armor, but now it's more or less trying to get help in bad situations. And I do recommend that you use this as an ability because it can be extremely strong. Okay, the next legend we have in B tier is, should I guess it? Caustic. Caustic got enough and was at the top of B tier, being the best defense legend. Before his gas traps, you could move really fast in his gas traps, making it overpowered. Meaning, as long as he had his breath, you could see through his gas and move extremely fast, while the enemies were slowing down. And I think that is just an insane thing. They did nerf it, so now, as it keeps coming up, before it even comes up, you are able to destroy the Caustic Trap. And I felt like that was a massive nerf, which is why I put him from A tier to B tier. Okay, the next legend that we have in B tier is my main legend, and that there is Revenant. Revenant is one of the strongest legends in the game because this man keeps getting buffs, because he has the lowest pick rate in the game. Respawn is going to continuously giving this man here a buff, and it's for no reason why. He was terrible at the beginning of the game, but now they buffed his totem, so he comes back with 50 HP. They removed the range out of his totem. His tactical ability now can throw two of the silence abilities, as well as hit dealing, as well as lasting for now not 10 seconds, 20 seconds. That means if you got a Pathfinder is just gonna be extremely angry. Now the Pathfinder got a nerf, and yeah, Revenant actually needs a nerf because of how overpowered he is. I was actually thinking of putting him in A tier because of how overpowered this ability can be, but just by a pinch he never made it to A tier. Because of his hitbox being massive, because of his tactical being one of the worst tacticals in the game, is why he's so low. His tactical can be strong, but in certain fights I do think that it needs to deal more damage than 10. Okay, the next legend, now we're gonna go to A tier, and A tier are strong legends that should be one of your main legends from here. They help a lot, and they will be bringing really competitive plays. At the bottom of A tier, we have Pathfinder. Pathfinder is literally considered as one of the strongest legends in the game. If you had to look at Pathfinder, you would admit that he can be the strongest legend in the entire game. When you admit this, or if you don't want to admit this, Pathfinder is certain to need a buff due to him getting a nerf to his tactical ability. His tactical ability was 35 seconds, and it what made people put him in F tier for some reason. But because of his passive ability to figure out where the next ring location is, can be the most overpowered ability in the entire game, and it's for obvious reasons why. I mean, that ability is just insane and will help you to be able to camp out a place. While Pathfinder is used aggressively, but due to his nerf, you should play a more campy base with Pathfinder. Okay, that's it for Pathfinder, and the next legend we have is Wattson. Watson, in my opinion, was a S tier legend, and she is really close to being the best defense legend. Even though she's higher than Caustic, that's just because Caustic got a massive nerf. You can place on three of her ultimate abilities, as well as defenses are really cool, but there's a lot of reasons as to why she isn't the best legend in the game. Passive abilities are the worst passive abilities. To get your ultimate can be really helpful, as well as having 2 ultimate accelerants instead of 1, but her ultimate is kinda strong but kind of weak at the same time. It's really hard to say what to use with Watson. Watson pairs up well with people who need their ultimate abilities extremely fast, like Loba or Lifelink. Okay, that's it for Watson. And the final legend in A tier is Gibraltar. Gibraltar was considered as the worst legend because of the size of his hitbox, but Respawn just couldn't stop buffing the man. They buffed him once with Fortified, then they buffed him again with the fast heals in the dome, then they buffed him again with the fast reses in the dome, and let me tell you, he has just become one of the most overpowered legends in the entire game. I do recommend that you start using Gibraltar because he is really strong, and his Bombard is quite similar to Bangalore's Rolling Thunder, but it's even stronger, and he doesn't take 8 seconds to stick in the ground. Okay, that's it for A tier. Now we have S tier. This is the must-pick legend, because this legend was the only one who made it in S tier. Let us begin. At the bottom of the only legend in S tier and the best legend in the game is Wraith. Wraith's abilities did get nerfed and buffed at the same time. Now you can go into the void in 25 seconds instead of 35 seconds. A passive ability to hear voices from the void basically means when someone's sniping at you, when somebody laid down traps inside the room, you know not to push them because they laid down traps. It is just an insane ability. Our ultimate can take her down teammate. It makes her one of the best person for reviving too. And she is one of the best legends in the game. Because of those abilities, that is why she's the high tier legend. And I recommend you use her. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure that you smash the like and subscribe button because it really helps YouTube channel a lot. And just make sure to check me out on Twitch because I stream every day. I didn't miss my stream today, but I will make sure to stream tomorrow. Thank you for watching and have a very nice day.